Hey guys, welcome back. Today we want to conquer dictionaries. We've already been through all the basics in Python. Everything that you need to know is kind of there. Dictionaries is not really part of the specification, so I don't believe it's in the A-level specification. However, it is something very important that we look at because we're going to be looking at databases, and dictionaries are a great way for us to store data. And if we were to look more in depth at something like JSON, for example, which you can add in the comment if you want to see it, a lot of the data on the web is stored in dictionary format or in JSON format, which is very similar. So without too much more, let's crack on. Let's have a look. So as you can see here, this is an example of a dictionary. So key observations for us. For example, we begin and we end a dictionary with curly brackets, unlike a list or an array where we would have used square brackets. And each item, just like in a dictionary, is separated by a comma, as you can see here. Each item is separated by a comma. But the glaring thing that you might notice is that each item has a key and value pair. So rather than items being indexed, like in a list, for example, the first item would be 0, the second item would be 1. Instead, what we have here is we have items that are not indexed. Instead, they're given keys. So the first item here, as if this was my Minecraft inventory, is gold. And gold, after the colon here, you can see holds the value of 12. What's important to note here is that our value doesn't have to be an integer, like in this case here. Our values can also be strings. It can be Boolean values. It can be floats. And actually, as you can see from the example at the bottom here where we have miscellaneous, actually our value can be a list, and it can also be another dictionary. So in this example here, just like how we would print a list out, I want to show you that if I print the name of the dictionary, so if I click on run, it prints out everything with curly brackets, and you can see we have our key, and then we have our values, and then they're separated by commas. Okay. Now what I could do is I could say, let's print out the keys like that, and let's copy that actually. In fact, we'll run that as it is, so we can print our keys. There we go. So now it's telling us that our dictionary keys are gold, dirt, and diamond. And if we want to, we can change that to values. So now we only see the values, 12, 34, and 5. Now guys, whereas in a list, we use the append function to add a value to our list, with a dictionary, we use the update method. So looking back at our example here, I want to change these. In fact, let's delete that, and let's add. Okay, so rather than me using, let's say, dot update, and I want to update my dictionary by adding a key value pair, and you can see here that what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into a curly bracket, and I'm going to say, let's add sticks. So sticks, and after the colon, let's add 8 sticks. So now when I print Satchel out, what I should see is a result of sticks being added to our dictionary. Before I carry on, as always guys, I've got tasks for you. Please go to the description in the video here. It will link to the website, and the website will have tasks for you guys to work on and challenge yourselves. Now in a dictionary, just like a list, we can access items by using the square bracket, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's go to Satchel. In fact, let's delete that line altogether. Let's add it here. So let's add a square bracket here. Now, as we said before, a dictionary is not indexed. Okay, so I can't just say 0. It shouldn't work. If I run that, I get an error because there's no key called 0. Okay, so for example here, I've got gold, dirt, and diamond. If I want to print gold, then I'm going to have to use quotes, and I'm going to have to type out the key. And now when I run that, as you can see, it gives me the value of 12, which is the same as what we have here. Okay. Now, even though it's not indexed, if I wanted to, I could artificially create that. So, for argument's sake, what if my list was to contain, what if my dictionary was to contain a further dictionary? And I could make it easy. For example, let's name the first one 0. The second one 1, and the third one is 2. Okay. Now, like I said, if I was to say print 0, the key now doesn't have to be a string. The key can be a number, an integer. So if I say satchel 0, as you can see, it gives me that. If I say satchel 1, I now get the value of 34, which is the same here. But the whole point is that we use keys because it helps us understand, and it helps us better pick out value based on the key, right? So if the key is a number, it might defeat the purpose, right? However, now let's say, for example, each key value pair was holding a collection of information. So for example, this could be that I've got another dictionary. Like I said, my dictionary can hold a dictionary. So this could be about users, right? So I could say, right, I've got a list of users. The first one is Alan, and Alan's age is 13. And then if I wanted to, I could take that. Let's replace these. Okay, so now if I was to print 1, oh no, let's change names at least, right? Let's go Alice, and another one is Anton, and they're all age 13. But now look, if I print satchel 1, that gives me dictionary value. It gives me dictionary key 1, which in turn holds another dictionary which is about a user. So this is, in effect, it's like a basic database, right? It's a basic way for us to store data. So like we said, it's not indexed, but our keys can be integers, right? In fact, let's change these back for a second. There, I've just quickly changed my dictionary back to key value pairs that are strings. So if I want to remove one, let's say we remove gold, right? So if I wanted to say satchel.pop and let's remove gold. Now if I run that, no, hold on, sorry. I don't want to print it. That goes there. So let's remove gold, and then if we were to print the satchel again, now it should have gold missing, right? As you can see now that I've popped out gold, and I've printed the satchel again. This time we've got gold missing, okay? And an important thing to note here is, you know, if we were to do this with lists, when we use the pop, we would have to give an index position, okay? But now we're giving a key. All right, cool. Last point. So sticking with the theme of Minecraft, I want us to think about, you know, if we were to create a basic function to go along with our dictionary here, I want us to be able to say something like, you know, if we were to put down 4 planks together, then it creates a crafting table. Or for example, if we were to put down a stick and a piece of coal, then we create a torch, okay? I want us to create a basic function that takes inputs and then outputs a result and also manipulates our dictionary. So what I'm giving you here is actually in the it's actually in the worksheets that it's actually in the task that I've provided you guys. This is going to be linked to the web page, okay? And the final task here in task 4 is actually this extra challenge. And as you can see here, what I've got is a different satchel, okay? And it says write a function called craft item, which takes 2 required parameters and 2 optional parameters. We'll go through this now because I don't think we've covered this in our previous videos before. And it says the function must be able to take arguments of materials to produce items such as, okay? And we did say this before. So for example, if you have 2 vertical planks, then what it does is it outputs 4 sticks. Now what that should do is that should remove 2 planks from plank here, and it should update stick by adding 4 to it, okay? So I'm not going to show you how to do that, but we are going to kickstart writing the function, okay? So just to show you something. So for example, we're going to say define, it was called craft and underscore item. So I did say that I haven't shown you this particular thing. So I'm going to say that this first parameter, I'm going to call it material 1, and then we'll also have material 2, okay? Now the next 2 is optional. So I'm going to say material 3 equals none, And let's do the same thing for material 4. Material 4. So like we said, by doing this, this makes these particular inputs optional. Put a colon there and do a new line. Okay, so then what I might want to do is I might say if, for example, if material 1 is equal to, for example, stick, okay, and I mean, I don't know why I'm doing this. I shouldn't be doing this for you. And if material 2 is equal to, I'll leave it there, right? It's for you guys to finish. So as I said, when you try this challenge out, okay, it says here that, for example, if here's the 3 challenges you've got to do. All right. Number 1, it says if there are 2 vertical planks. So, and I want you to think of it like this, right? I want you to imagine that when we looked at this, what we have is a 2D array. Okay, so we have 2, so that, for example, that could be item 1, that could be item 2, item 3, item 4, right? So if item 1 is, let's say, a piece of coal and item 2 is a stick, then the output should be a torch. Okay, so looking at the skills that we learned about, for example, how to update a dictionary item, how to remove a dictionary item, how to add a dictionary item, obviously we don't have torch. So you're going to need to add a torch. You're going to have to remove a stick. Oh, and also I guess in my example here, there were sticks, right? So in the example one I gave you, we have sticks. We don't have a torch. So you need to remove some items from stick, add an item called, what do you call it? Torch, and remove one from coal, etc., etc. Right, so that's your challenge. I'm not going to go through this in the video, but I might reveal the answer on the web page. So, guys, as always, do the extra tasks. See you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.